First of all, okay, there we go. There we go. Good evening and welcome, everyone. I'm Jessica, one of the, I almost said senior director. Look at me claiming this in advance. Director, one of the directors. Thank you for taking some time out this Sunday. Many of you I've either spoken with or text, so we are excited so we can talk about not only the benefits of X39, but also introduce you to your team and also share a little bit about the compensation plan. So we're going to jump right in, and I would like to introduce Monique Dotson, who is our senior director as well.
Hello, Marion. I see Marion's beautiful face. Well, thank you for the introduction, Jessica. I just want to welcome everybody to the Zoom as well. I am extremely excited about this team. I hear wonderful things about everybody. I am in Houston, Texas, along with Jessica, and just really wanted to first and foremost thank God for the opportunity to be partnering with you guys to do something amazing and sharing this wearable light technology to be able to be a blessing to other people. That's first and foremost. So we always have to give God the glory. And then secondly, I would like to just congratulate Marion for reaching manager in record time. We have some great leaders with Jessica and Monica, have all been very instrumental in just having this kind of team support. And that's one of the reasons that we want to show y'all a face. You know, we may be in different spaces and places, but we can connect by Zoom and by phone to just let you know that you have the support you need to get you where you want to go. Based on your desire and how many people you are willing to help. Now, I do have the honor and the privilege to introduce you to our presenter this evening, who will go over the X39 presentation as well as the compensation plan. She is at the very top of our leadership in rank in this company as a senior presidential director. She and my father hit that rank extremely fast in record time, I think within 6 months, which is absolutely phenomenal. They helped a lot of people and at a very quick amount of time. The other thing is they know exactly what they're doing. My father is Harvey Monk, along with my beautiful bonus mom, I call her, but she is our leader. She is the best in this business. And I can go on and on with the accolades. Not only is she a wonderful woman of God, just a servant's heart. So I am going to turn it over to our Senior Presidential Director, Mrs. Perdita Monk.
Well, thank you so much, Monique, for that awesome introduction. And I tell you, you just heard from someone that you're going to grow to love so much because of not only her leadership, but her sincerity and passion for what this technology that you're going to hear about is doing for people in so many different ways. I also want to give respect for Jessica because she is a wealth of knowledge. Just so passionate about this. I mean, it was something that she felt a calling almost to do. And so I love working alongside her. I want to congratulate Marion and all the other people who are really, Monica, for putting this team together up in New York. I can't wait to go to New York. I was just telling Monique that I don't know what part of New York you all are from, but my husband and I were just talking about going up there. But I just wanted to let you know that I did want to acknowledge everyone, and I am so excited to share this information with you. And just so you know, if you've ever presented on Zoom before, whenever someone's video is open, it keeps popping up in my face. And so I just had to stop everybody's video because I get distracted like that. But I just wanted to go ahead and let you know why I feel qualified to share this information with you. And it's because as a consumer, as well as a business partner or leader in this company. So my husband and I, the way we got introduced to this, this technology that you're going to be hearing about, for some of you who've never seen this presentation before, was through a friend, just sort of like you just heard about it. But what happened with us when you hear these kinds of testimonies that you're going to hear this evening, we put ourselves in that category to say that, oh yeah, we've this patch is helping all these people that are sick or in some type of pain, but we don't really need it because that doesn't apply to us. And many people feel that way. But once we tried this patch for ourselves, we realized not only do we need it, but not only that, we needed to tell every single person that we cared about. That's the way we felt as a result of wearing this patch. So what happened was we were literally about to go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We had gotten on a call just like this, heard some information, almost missed it because I told my husband I wasn't interested. I don't need that. And so we went to Milwaukee, where my husband is from, and we just out of curiosity, we decided we would try this patch for ourselves. It's a very tiny patch. It's about the size of a quarter and it's thin like a Band-Aid. So it's something that when you look at it, you think, what can this thing do? So we put this patch on that night before we went to bed. And the next morning, I noticed that I had slept so deeply. And that was really significant because I would be up all night because my husband was had a chronic sleeping disorder. He would snore, choke, and cough all night long. At least it seemed like it was all night long for about 10 years. So not only could he not sleep, I couldn't sleep either. It was kind of scary. When someone is choking and looks like they're about to choke themselves to death, that's the way it was. That next morning, we woke up and noticed that he had not snored, but I just thought it was a lucky night. We did it again the next night, and this time we realized that it had to have been the patch. That was the only thing that was cut. There was no way he could go 2 nights in a row without snoring. And so that's been 2.5 years ago. Okay, he's not snored since. So that's just amazing. That just gives you an idea of what kinds of things that you don't even expect this patch will do. But when you have a chronic sleeping disorder and acid reflux and all that, that's a health issue. People do snore and choke in their sleep. That is a health issue. And so I felt that there was no way I could keep this a secret, not based on the things I had heard and seen this patch do. And that's why we took off running, telling everybody we knew. And sometimes when you're excited like that and you start spreading the word, everybody start catching on to our excitement and our momentum. And that's how it happened. So that's why I kind of feel qualified to at least share because I've heard so many testimonies. And so we're going to impart upon you as much as we can to hopefully you will catch the vision after I finish. Okay, so let me pull up this presentation really quickly and start explaining to you, why are we even talking about stem cell technology? You see, right now, billions of dollars are being spent on stem cell research. And this research has been going on for decades, you guys, since way back in the early 2000s. And the reason that is so significant is because doctors, as you can imagine, have patients that they've exhausted every resource they have to try to help their patient. They can't do anything else. So they've heard about stem cell research. They say, well, maybe you should try a stem cell injection. Okay, it's very, very popular in some areas, like in California, especially amongst wealthy people, because the stem cell injection is so expensive, the average person can't afford it. See, they range from $5,000 to maybe $25,000 per injection. Another thing about the injection is localized, meaning if you got a pain in your knee, and that the only reason you would get an injection in your knee is because it's unbearable. Some people have had, knee replacements and everything, and it still did not help. So they turn into a stem cell injection just because they could afford to do it. But see, insurance doesn't even cover that. So, you got to pay for this out of your pocket. So it's expensive, it's localized. 30% of the time it doesn't work. These cells normally come from an embryo or an umbilical cord. So there's a lot of controversy behind it, at least at the beginning it was, but the people continue to do that because they don't have any other options. So now we have an option, and it's called this stem cell reactivation patch, the X39. That's what we're going to be talking about this evening. As you can see, these beautiful young ladies, they're sharing it on their shoulders or their arms. But what's going to happen when you get patched? Immediately, the copper peptides in your body are going to be elevated, and in turn, it's going to start reactivating the dormant stem cells in your body. So why are we talking about this? Why is this significant? Because see, as we age, by the time we're 30, half of our stem cells go inactive. They're dormant. They're just sitting there. They didn't go away. They're just dormant. And that's when you get to be around 30, many people start experiencing, the effects of aging, like high blood pressure, diabetes, those kinds of things. Just being tired, those kinds of things. Now, by the time we're 60, about 90% of them go dormant. And that's really when your body starts breaking down. People start getting the pain in their knee because there's no, what's this? Anyway, they get the bone on bone with their knees. Okay. I can't think of the word right this minute. But then, just more significant things like dementia, all kinds of things. Your skin starts wrinkling. Some people's skin start wrinkling. And so that's because the stem cells that are dormant, see, stem cells make up the tissues and organs in our bodies and these are the body's intended repair system. So if you don't have as many stem cells left in your body, how's the body going to heal itself? Okay, so this is why we're talking about this. So the less stem cells you have in your body, the slower you're going to heal. And the more you're going to feel the effects of aging. So that's what we're trying to do something about. So I want to make a disclaimer here to let you know that our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. All we're talking about is a mechanism, a tool that allows you to elevate those copper peptides and in turn, reactivate the dormant stem cells. Now, how does it work? This is a proprietary form of phototherapy. If you're not familiar with phototherapy, many people are not, but it's the same as if you went out into the sun and got some vitamin D. Now, the vitamin D is not deposited into your body because it's not floating around in the air. Where would it be coming from? If you already have the vitamin D in your body, all the sun is doing is elevating that vitamin D. Now, another form is when you're with children, babies have jaundice. They put them under a light to, get that jaundice, get rid of the jaundice. So you don't need the sun to elevate the copper peptides in your body because guess what? You already have heat and light in your body, right? So what happens is inside of this patch, very, very tiny, see, very, very tiny, there are crystals. You can't even see them. They're nanocrystals. These nanocrystals, what happens when you put the patch on your body, the light and heat of your body reflect off of these crystals. This is genius. So this is the part that you're going to get real excited about. It reflects off of those crystals. And when it reflects off those crystals, it turns around and elevates those copper peptides in your body. And that in turn reactivates the dormant stem cells. That right there that I just described is the phenomenon that sets this technology apart than any other type of, invention there may be out there. But here's the thing. It's non-transdermal. Nothing is going into your body. Nothing is penetrating into your skin or your body. It's just reflecting off the light of your body. That's a difference. So there are no drugs or chemicals because, they're registered, they're made in an FDA registered lab made out of amino acids and sugars, but there's no drugs or chemicals. And this is why so many professional athletes are using this, because if they were to take a drug test, they cannot be guilty of using any type of, performance enhancing drugs. But yet people like Serena Williams are wearing our patches and was wearing them when she was performing. The Olympic women's swim team at Stanford University, they were wearing a different patch. I'm gonna tell you about that in a moment. But either way, they cannot be caught with any type of performance enhancing drugs in their body. So there is no drugs or chemicals here. It is 100% non-invasive, meaning nothing is going into your body, you guys. So this is a win-win from every perspective that you look at it, okay? Now, here's the brilliant inventor I want to introduce you to. His name is David Schmidt. He is the CEO of our company called LifeWave. He is the inventor of this patch. This man has over 200 patents, and I was telling you a little bit about his first one called the Energy Enhancing Patch. This energy enhancer patch, this is the one that was his very first patch. He was commissioned by the Department of Defense to assist in a project with the Navy SEALs to keep them energized for over 36 hours at a time when they were underwater without any type of, everything needed to be natural. And he was the one they called to do this. And it was so successful that it started reaching doctors all over the country. Who else were they going to run this to? Doctors, scientists. And that's how it ended up at Stanford University on the Women's Olympics. This is a very, very interesting situation. And so fast forward, how do we get to where we are now? In 2008, David Schmidt started focusing his attention on stem cell research. And it took him about 10 years and $4.5 million of his own money to bring this to market. But this just shows you how diligent he was. Remember, I told you billions of dollars have been spent on this research, but no one could do it except for him. And the more you get to know him, you would just get the chills, like sitting in his presence. The man is so brilliant. To have over 200 patents speaks for itself. Now, let me tell you, those 80 case studies that he performed to get this patent, they had to prove this works, this patch work. So this is what it says in the patent. It says this is a wearable phototherapy apparatus that produces beneficial effects to the human body, such as activation of stem cells, improvement in strength, improvement in stamina, pain relief via a non-transdermal container. The non-transdermal apparatus reflects or emits specific wavelengths of light to elevate levels of the copper peptide GHKCU in the body. So this is in the patent. Here's the patent right here. And we have exclusive rights not only to market this product, but also no one can duplicate this product for the next 15 years. That screams volume, and it's just amazing, the opportunity we have in our hands. So here are some of the benefits that you can see on the page: increased strength, reduced inflammation, energy and vitality, increased stamina, the different kinds of things that you are lacking once your stem cells go dormant. But it's revitalizing you in all these ways. Mental clarity, that's a big one. When we started getting a certain age, we forget things, don't we? Like when you go into a room and you can't remember why did you even go in the room? I know it's funny, but it's true. It restored muscle and skeletal conditions. This is huge because as people age, many of them get osteoporosis or just less density to their bones and their body. They seem to get shorter. I've been around several people that I know very well, and as they got older, they started getting shorter because the skeletal system is diminishing. But this is going to restore all of that, you guys. Improvement of sleep. I told you about my husband and my experience with the patch the very first night. But many people who had a difficulty sleeping, most people see that improvement within a week or less. And some people may take longer. Improvement of skin appearance. You guys, we've seen people who have extraordinary situations with their skin. I'm going to share you some visuals in a moment so you can see what I'm referring to. So once again, we want to put this disclaimer out there and let you know these products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. So here's something really, really interesting. In one of the case studies, they took a 77-year-old woman, placed the X39 on the back of her neck, okay? And the very first session, they put her, the topography map is equivalent to a brain scan, right? They looked at her brain, and the orange-red area really reflects inflammation that was in her brain, and there was a lack of brain coherence, okay? 3 weeks later, they looked at it again, and there was no more inflammation. It was all gone and improved brain coherence. 6 weeks total, which is 3 more weeks later, there was a complete turnaround, better brain coherence. So this could literally reflects what happens to our brains, or it could be your heart. It could, because different parts of your body are going to have inflammation in it, right? But this just happens to be this woman's brain. She came in there and her brain was hyperactive. And by the end of those 6 weeks, her brain was calm, you guys. This is, phenomenal. Now, this page right here is explaining to you what happened during those case studies, what happened to the people. There were over 80 case studies, remember. And those case studies are documented on thisisit.info.com. You may want to write that down. Matter of fact, I hope you're taking notes, because as we go along, you're going to think of people that you know and care about that really need to know about this patch. And you need to be confident in this, because this website is very comprehensive and thorough. So in the very first few days of wearing the patch, over 4,000 genes begin to reset. That is very significant, because I heard a doctor in our company that said that when you drink red wine, you know, there's an ingredient in it called resveratrol, which is good for the heart, and they say it helps you live longer. When you drink a glass of wine, he says you're going to get 2 genes to be reset. So that's how significant this is, to in just a few days, over 4,000 genes begin to be reset. Now, within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced, just like I showed you on the previous screen, right? But here's some other examples when you think of someone's brain being imbalanced, is that, do you know anyone that is autistic? We have so many children that, you know, that I've personally known or heard of, that their brain was balanced like very quickly. There's a little girl in North Carolina, 3 years old, and all this little girl did was walked around in circles. And the very first day of wearing the patch, she said she went to preschool and she sat down. So her preschool teacher took a picture of her because it sent it to her mother, because she couldn't believe the little girl sat down. Also, the little girl went to the potty, something she never could do. They always had to have a diaper on her. And so that's just an example of what we mean when we say the brain becomes balanced. People that have PTSD, Alzheimer's, dementia, all of those are examples of the brain being unbalanced. And within these case studies, within 6 weeks, the brains became balanced. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. You know, that's real important as we get older, because that's going to keep the skin supple. It's going to keep the hair growing. You know, it's also, you know, the bones, and it holds the bones and the muscles together. All of that's real important. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. Now, this is very important, because according to, you know, the science behind this, within 6 months of wearing the patch, the heart reverses in age, meaning you're getting younger and younger. So every 6 months that you wear this patch, the heart reverses by 8 years. Let me give you an example and I know this lady happens to live around the corner from me, and she had been wearing the patch for about 2.5 years. She was 73 years old, I believe. She had the vascular age test, which looks at your heart to see how old it is, okay, how old you are. And in her case, they came back and said, well, something must be wrong with our equipment, because it's showing you at 33 years old. And she says, oh no, there's nothing wrong with the equipment. I've been wearing this patch for 2.5 years. So remember, every 6 months, the heart reverses by 8 years. So in 2.5 years, that's 5 increments of 6 months. What's 5 times 8? 40. She was 73. If you subtract 40, that's why they showed her at 35 years old. That's a perfect example. In addition to that, I know plenty of people that had pacemakers. I know one person in particular had a pacemaker, and he was, you know, because of all these conditions. I won't go through all of his conditions, but not only the diabetes, taking 5 shots of insulin per day, but not only wearing this pacemaker, within 6 weeks of wearing this patch, he went back to the cardiologist, and the cardiologist said, what are you doing? Because I don't see this pacemaker is not even being activated. That to the extent that he had to reach out to the manufacturer, making sure that there was nothing wrong with the pacemaker. And the manufacturer said there's nothing wrong with the pacemaker. And plus they measured, because his had that injection factor of 17 at the beginning, and today his injection factor is 89%. You see what I'm saying? Just after just a few weeks of wearing the patch. So David Smith said, this is not anti-aging, you guys, this is age reversing. Okay, this is huge. In other words, we're going to get younger because of these reactivation of these stem cells. Our body, the tissues and organs in our body are going to get younger and younger and younger. Okay, now, how do you wear the patch? Very simple. Now, you can wear it either anywhere you really want to wear it, but in those case studies, they did wear it below the belly button or behind the neck on the C7 vertebrae, just to be consistent, okay? So that they had a group A and a group B. But you can literally wear it anywhere as long as you wear it 12 hours a day, 12 hours on and take it out off 12 hours later. Like at 8 in the morning, you could put it on, 12 hours, 8 p.m. at night, you could take it off and allow your body to repair and rejuvenate. So you just throw that away. Why are you going to throw it away? Because you're going to get 30 patches in this beautiful packaging. Yeah, 30 patches. So you don't have to save that. Plus you can't use it again anyway. And you're just needing to drink plenty of water to hydrate yourself, because you want to allow the toxins to start flushing out of your body. You also want the energy from this that you're going to be experiencing from this patch to flow through the body, and it's going to do it more efficiently and effectively if you are hydrated. So we highly recommend you're hydrated. And so this is the part that I'm excited about, because what better way to witness what this patch is doing than to hear it from some people firsthand. So what I'm going to do is stop my video, and the people that are going to share their video, they can turn back and unmute the, start their video again. So the person that I want to call on first is, is it Jessica? Jessica, are you going to share a testimony this evening?
Yes, I am.
All right, you can start your video again if you want.
Okay.
Let me see if I could get you. I'm sorry.
I think you have to allow me.
All right. There you go. Did it pop up?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. There you
go.
go.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Good evening again. First, I didn't mention earlier, I am a home health occupational therapist assistant, and I've been covering the Houston area for over 20 years. I am not a doctor, but my experience, it has allowed me to really share a lot of the benefits of the patch and what it's been doing and the benefit of the patch. I came to know about the patch about 2.5 years ago when Monique introduced the patch to me from my son, who was playing basketball overseas, and he was dealing with some pain in his knees. He wore the patch for, I believe, 2 months. Inflammation went away, pain went away, and we never thought about it again. Last year, I was in a patient's home, and I fell. And when the very next day, I jumped back up. The very next day, I had an inflammation of fluid, edema, all around my right knee. Initially, I did what they call the RICE method, rest, ice, compression, exercise, and the pain was still not going down. So Monique was like, why don't you put the patch on your knee? I put the patch on my knee. Within 5 days, all inflammation gone completely. And of course, when you go to the doctors, immediately they say, well, we can withdraw it with they can pull the fluid out, but I didn't have to do that. So that was how I got reintroduced to the patch. I've known about the patch for 2.5 years, but last year I was reintroduced. So I'm going to actually share something with you today that just happened. I'm jumping all over the place because there's so many patches, and we're not going to get into that per se, but there is a patch that helps animals. So 3 weeks ago, we had a meeting in Katy, and we were talking about the patch helping animals with tumors and things of that nature. I thought about my pet groomer who loves her animals. She boards them, and I reached out to her to talk about the patches for the animals. She said, come on over. I went over the next day, and she said, my animals don't really need the patch, but this is what I'm going through. She said, I have viral cardiomyopathy, and some of the symptoms are irregular heartbeat, swelling in the feet, fatigue. So she said, I'm really not interested in the patch for the animals, but what about for me? So I set her up. We started her on the core package, and she was also dealing with a lot of pain. Can you still hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, something happened there. She was dealing with a lot of pain, so I customized a core package for her. Not only did I give her the X39, but I also included the Ice Wave. So she's been on the X39 for 2 weeks, and I followed up with her this morning. Hey, Sandy, how are you doing? Just checking in on you. She said, well, my edema in both of my feet are going down. She has a very engorged ankles and also in the calf muscle. I'm like, really? And she said, I'm starting to feel better and sleep better. I didn't know it was going to help me with sleeping. I'm like, okay. So I did encourage her, start taking pictures because it's going to change over time. She owns her own grooming facility, so she does a lot of standing on her feet. But that's just, I wasn't planning on talking about her, but that happened this morning. Another testimony that I have to share with you is my mother, who is 75 years old and she's in renal failure. I had been encouraged or asking my mom, please, I want you to try the patch. I've been reading testimonies about how it helps with people with uh, all different types of cardiovascular issues. My mother refused to try the patch. My mom is from that generation. If the doctor does not order it, I'm not using it. Well, on September 19th of last year, my mom coded twice, and we almost lost her. But due to the CPR, they fractured 8 of my mother's ribs. And I left the information in the ICU, and one of the doctors read the information, and she said, I don't know if the patch can help her, but I don't think it can hurt. So let's try it. My mom was requiring 2 to 3 nurses to sit her up on the edge of the bed, using the ice wave, which we put directly on the pain site, which that is utilized for acute and chronic pain. My mom went from requiring 3 nurses to sit on the edge of bed to being able to do it by herself. Consistently using the X39 for the last 8 months, my mother had not been able to urinate for 11 months because, again, she's in stage 4 renal failure. My mom is now urinating again. Not once, twice, but now 3 times a day and maybe even more. So it's just amazing what this patch is doing for so many. And I'm going to leave you with one more. I sat in on a conversation with one of my patients and her daughter, and she's been on Zoloft, which is a antidepressant medication. She's also dealing with Parkinson's. And she stated, I don't want to take Zoloft anymore because it makes me very tired. So I asked the daughter, let's try something called the X39 LifeWave patch on your mom. And she goes, Mom, Jessica is encouraging, let's just give it a try. It can't hurt. I now have 3 Parkinson's patients using X39. It is changing their muscular movements. Some who were not able to sit on the edge of the bed are now doing so. Some who were not able to do what they call dynamic reaching, which is extending on their own or feeding themselves, are now doing so. This, in addition to another patch that we could talk about at another time. But the patch is working. Most of these diseases are inflammation. So with the X39 decreasing the inflammation, we're getting more mobility. We're getting better cognitive awareness out of the patients. It's just amazing. And I have so many. I can keep going on and on. And the biggest thing, what I'm finding is that blood pressures are going down. Patients that are on maybe 1, 2, and 3 blood pressure medications are now requiring 1. Also, the dosage is going down. So I encourage you to track the blood pressure over time because it's going to change. Medications are going to be decreased. Dosages are going to be decreased. So,
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Jessica, coming from someone in the medical community, that speaks volumes. I hope you all understand the things that Jessica was trying to emphasize. Everything doesn't always happen at one time. If you owe it to yourself, stick with it. Give it a good 6 months. I highly recommend. Don't be coming back a week later saying I didn't try anything. I mean, I didn't feel anything, because you may not feel anything right then, but you owe it to yourself. We're trying to inform you as much as we can. So thank you, Jessica, for sharing. And I know Monica wants to share a quick testimony, and I don't want to keep you all too long because we're already been on this call 40 minutes, but we can ask Monica. I'm gonna have to unmute you because I think I muted you. We're just trying not to, oh, there you go. Monica, there we go. Come on, Monica Humber, and share your testimony.
Can you see my picture? I think my
Not
video.
yet, not yet. Let me see. I may have to do that. There we go. Can you do it now?
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, we want to see that pretty face.
How are you? Thanks so much for Adita for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Verdita, Monique, and Jessica, which is my upline. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone coming on. And I see a lot of people on, other people in addition for that are on Jessica's team. And I thank you all for coming on as well. I wanted to just briefly tell my testimony because it's a little different. I started the actual Life Wave about 9 months ago, and my problem was ADHD and heart problems, and that's what I'd like to just address very quickly. I started off, I had ADHD and I've had it all my life, just didn't know about it until 40, started taking stimulant medication at age 40 to make my brain go faster and also make my heart go faster. What I want to say is with the X39, and I do pair it with the Eon, and I know me and Marianne has talked about it, and a lot of you have started off with the X39 and Eon, and we kind of pair those together sometimes. So in regards to my ADHD, it immediately, probably in about 3 weeks, helped my brain be more focused, helped me my memory be better, helped me not to have to double and triple check myself. This is something with people who have ADHD, double and triple check myself. It helped me not to have to, very often there's a disconnect with the brain. And so therefore what you're doing is I might think of a word that I'm going to say, and all through my professional career, I might say, oh, I did a footnote on page 272, but I meant to say 274, meaning that I knew what I was going to say, but my brain would say one thing and my mouth would say a different thing. All of these things just absolutely have gone away using the X39. And of course, I said the Eon as well, but really the X39, which is a stem cell patch. In addition to that, because of the stimulant medicine, because of the ADHD, I actually had heart problems. So you heard Vidya talking about your ejection fracture. My ejection fracture was 48. After about 6 months of using the patch, my ejection fracture went to 58, which is a huge improvement. And in addition to that, my actual blood pressure, which I thought this would not happen, because not only was my blood pressure high, but my actual heart rate was also very high. My heart rate was about 85 through 110 resting on a regular basis. Now my heart rate is in the 60s and 70s, which I personally did not believe could happen, but it did. And it took about 6 months, but it completely reset my heart rate. And of course, my blood pressure is running in the 120s and 70s. So to say that this patch is miraculous and a miracle from God, it really, truly is. And the only other thing I wanted to actually address, to be very quick, is I know Mary and I and Danielle and a lot of us have been addressing pain issues. I want to, because it's blown me away in the testimonies and seeing how many people who have become pain-free. I just want to say that the patch and the X39 is miraculous for pain as well. And we've seen so many people in front of our eyes who had maybe bone-on-bone hip, bone-on-bone knee, or either knee replacement surgery, and ankles or back, and all of them have become pain-free. So I just want to emphasize that it's been miraculous, and this patch is nothing short of a miracle from God. And so that's my testimony.
Wow, that is so powerful, Monica. And so what she's talked about, that's another condition. The ADHD is a reflection of an unbalanced brain. So that was a perfect testimony to share with you all. What we want you to know is the patch is well-rounded. You don't ever know what the patch is going to do. It's very intelligent and it figures out what's wrong, what's going on. And it may not seem that significant to some people, but when you're experiencing it yourself, it's very significant. It's very significant. And we have the responsibility now that we know about it to make sure that we spread the word. And that's all we're trying to do. I told you I was going to share with you some visuals. Look at this individual here that has a condition called vitiligo. There is no cure for vitiligo. There are treatments, but no really cure. I'm not saying the patch cured him, but you don't see any vitiligo in his face after a year of wearing it. And then look at this lady. I don't know how old she is, but after 3 years using the patch, these deep wrinkles around her chin area are gone. Look about the wrinkles that are on her neck. I mean, she looks 20 years younger. All around her eyes, she looks like I mean, you know it's the same person, but she looks 20 years younger, y'all. Just with this patch. Okay, so that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And remember, I told you about the site called thisisit.info.com. Many more testimonies on there. If you click on testimonials, many the case studies are on there. The patent is there. Doctor's reviews. Don't leave out the doctor's reviews at the very bottom. You heard from a medical professional when you heard from Jessica, but to know that doctors are really saying, where has this patch been all my life? You know, that's very credible. But if you did click on testimonials, this is what you would see. You would see all kinds of issues: neuropathy, mental clarity, the heart, hearing. I literally was in the presence of a lady. I sat at a spa, and the owner of the spa asked me to do a presentation. So I came over there, and there were about 12 people there, and I did a 20-minute presentation, but very thorough. That's all I did. And so after I finished talking, a lady came up to me and said, "What does the patch do?" Well, I just did all this that I'm doing right here, and it just threw me off. I said, "Well, why don't I just put a patch on you?" Because I didn't know what else to say. I put the patch on her, right on the back of her neck. About 10 minutes later, the lady screamed, "Ah!" like this. And of course, it got everybody in the room's attention. What is wrong? And the lady said, "I can hear." She said, "I haven't been able to hear for 15 years. And I came up to you so I could read your lips, because from where you were standing, I couldn't read your lips." Isn't that amazing? Just that quickly. And see, you'll see yourself, the same thing that we're talking about, all kinds of things happening. So don't forget to go to that site, because it is definitely going to raise your belief level. Now, we just spent a lot of time talking about how you're going to be free of the health issues that you and your family are experiencing. We want to also now pivot a little bit to talk about the financial freedom. See, first of all, I hope you're thinking about people that you care about. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You may say, "Oh, I can't wait to get my mother on this patch." But do you realize that just because your mom decided to order some of these patches, the company's going to say, "Thank you." They're going to send you some money. And whether you want it or not, they're going to send it to you. Okay. And that's what happens. All we doing is sharing with other people. And because this patch is so powerful, it's very hard to keep it to yourself. It's very hard for people not to want to buy it. It is flying off the shelves. So you're going to experience some significant income if you take action and do what we're doing, that is sharing. Time freedom. Just to be able to do the things you want to do. One of the things I really enjoy about this journey is that the company also rewards us with trips, vacations. You know, my husband, and just the fall of last year, we went to on a Greek Isles cruise to Mykonos, and whatever, some of those islands, in Greece. Also, I think it was in August, we went to Punta Cana, and then we just got back this spring from Punta Mita, which is a resort luxury area near Puerto Vallarta. And all of this is free. The company pays all of your expenses. So there's a lot to benefit from. You're going to be a totally healthy person. Hopefully you're going to be financially free. Once again, we can't make any income claims, but we're letting you know that is available. So this is a global business opportunity, you guys. It's all over the world in over 75 countries. That's how much is spread. Our company is experiencing exponential growth. And the first 18 years or so, the company was, doing about 20 million, because mostly doctors knew about this. But when entrepreneurial type of mindset type people got on board, and the direct sales industry caught on to this, the company blew up to over 300 million. The team we're on, called This Is It team, was responsible for this growth, for this company to grow so fast. And a year later, it exploded to over 430 million. Last year, we exceeded 600 million. This year, we're projected to hit $1 billion. Something is very rare in this industry, but the company is growing so fast. We're written up for 2 years in a row. We've, according to businessforhome.org, which is a very well-respected page website that follows home-based businesses and direct sales companies. We were not, they announced us 2 years in a row is the fastest growing network marketing company. That speaks volumes, you guys. So how is this growth possible? Because our product is not a Me Too product. Many companies out there have products, as you can see, such as weight loss, skin care, hair care, things like that. Well, this company has it, but guess what? Me too. I got it too. That's what we mean by Me Too products. But you cannot say that any other company has LifeWave. We're the only company that, according to this patent, that can market or duplicate this product. So that speaks volumes. So I'm going to share you how would you be compensated if you did decide to share this with other people, because all we're doing is sharing. We're not selling. I want you to get that out of your mind, because some people say, well, I can't sell. You don't have to sell. All you got to do is tell. Okay. So LifeWave is not going to make any promises or guarantees regarding your income. The success or failure of a brand partner, like any other business, depends on your skills and your personal effort, as I was saying a minute ago. Okay. So in order to get some of this inventory, some of these patches, there's some information that we want to share with you, which is what packages are available to me and how much do they cost. What is my name, my date of birth, email address, basic information is required to get you some of these patches, and you're going to get a free website. So first of all, if you said, well, I just want to try a 30-day supply. Well, perfect. If you just want to try a 30-day supply and that's it, you can get a 30-day supply. Let me zoom in a little bit. And for $150, basically $150 plus tax and shipping, and there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. But remember, I want you to remember this, what I said earlier. You're not doing yourself any service by just trying a 30-day supply. That's just, I don't know why, but they want to make this available to anybody, if, whatever their circumstances are. But if you understand this technology and what we've been, and you appreciate what it's doing, you may want to be a preferred customer. In other words, you want to stay on this as long as it takes, okay? And you're going to get a wholesale price of $99.95 as long as you pay a annual fee of $20. They're going to throw some little extra, few patches every month into you if you're staying active, meaning you're on a auto ship recurring order, you're getting it every month. But if you want to take advantage of the business opportunity, because more than likely, if you do care about anybody, you're going to share it. Okay, so let me show you what happens when you do share this with other people. You need to get something called a core pack, an advanced pack, or a premium. Simply meaning that you're getting the product at wholesale and you have more product on hand. I had a lady that stopped here just earlier today. She was from Indiana, but we were at a party the other night and I was able to have inventory. So I just, because it was convenient, I had the inventory. I let her have one of these. I was able to retail it to her, or she could have ordered it from the website, but she wanted it right then. If I did not have the inventory, I couldn't do it. The core package is really just enough for you and your spouse, and maybe share a few patches with a couple of friends, because you probably will do that. You're going to get 3 of those for $295. The advanced pack is $535. You're going to get 6 pets. We call these sleeves. 6 sleeves, but guess what? You just saved $65, right? So those 6 sleeves are enough, not only for you and your spouse, but enough to share it with a few people. The person and plus this advanced package also, excuse me, puts you in a position to get promoted. And there's a reason that you do want to get promoted, just like Marion did, to manager. There's a reason that I'm going to share with you in a moment. The premium package is for the serious entrepreneur. So when my husband and I got started, we didn't look at it as like, okay, we're serious entrepreneurs. That's not what we were thinking. What we were thinking is, oh, we got to get this tech. We got to get this out to as many people as we can. Because our sponsor, he shared some with us. If he'd not done that, we may not have ever tried the patch. Okay. So we got the top package. And what we did was made a list of 25 couples and 25 individuals. And those 25 couples, we gave them 10 patches, 5 for the spouse, for the wife, you know, 5 for the husband, 10. And when we multiplied that out, that was 200 patches. Then we did the same thing for 25 individuals. We gave them 5 as well. That's another 125 patches. That's 375. And we divided that by 30. That came out to 12 and a half sleeves. See, you're going to get 19 sleeves in here. So this package was not enough for us, nor was the core. So we said, oh, we got to get the premium. So guess what? In addition to that, that allowed my husband and I to have our own patches for 3 months. That's 6 more. That's 6 more sleeves. And so that's why we decided to get the packages. It was pure math in our situation, pure math to figure out how much we needed. I promise you. But the beautiful thing about this package is this. In order to earn money in our company, you must be active. It just simply means you're on what we call a monthly subscription, which you need to be anyway if you understand that you need to keep using it, right? So if you get 1 sleeve on your monthly subscription, that's enough for you. And it's also enough to keep your points so that you can get paid. But it will limit you to $100 in commission per week, okay, in our binary structure, which I'll show you momentarily. The second option is at least 2 sleeves. So if you're married, you need 2 anyway, right? So if you get 2 sleeves, which is about $200 a month, in addition to keeping your points, you get a chance to maximize the compensation plan, because you're going to see in a moment, it is very, very lucrative, and you don't want to limit yourself with 1 sleeve. So I'm just trying to help you understand what package fits for you. Okay. Here's the thing. If you want a premium package or an advanced package and you cannot afford it right now, you can start with the core and you can turn around and upgrade. All you do is pay the difference, and you're going to get the difference in inventory as well. So you're not missing out on anything if you do not start at the package that you would desire to start out at. Now, I told you about the retail customer. If somebody purchases 1 sleeve from you, this is the first way we can get paid. $50 as if they're a retail customer, plus you're going to get 77 points when they purchase that sleeve. Or if they do become the preferred customer where they're getting it the cost you are at $99, but they stay active every month, that's $20 that the company's going to pay you every month. If they're ordering that for a whole year, that's $240 for just that 1 customer. You don't even have to do anything else. They're staying on the pack, and the company will also give you 43 points, okay? So that's the preferred customer option. Now, the packages that people purchase through you, if they get the core, you're going to make $35 and 180 points. The advanced package, you're going to earn 75 and 300 points. And then $405 if they get the premium pack, plus 745 points. And I'm going to tell you, the points are significant, which I will explain that as well. But remember, I told you about those why you might want to be a manager is because, as you can see, as you start ranking up and your money starts coming in, you're limited to $1,500 a week as a manager. As you keep climbing up the ladder, there's more money available to you. And as a senior presidential director, you can earn up to $25,000 a week in the binary. And we know plenty of people that are doing that. This is why it's important to kind of understand your limitations at certain ranks. Now, let me explain what happens in this binary. I told you I was going to explain you about the points. If this is you, and let's say we heard from Monica. I'm not sure if Monica directly enrolled Marion. I'm just going to give an example. Let's say Monica enrolled Marion. Marion came in, she got an advanced pack that not only did Monica get paid $75, but Monica, she also earned 300 points. Okay, and then let's say that Monica enrolled somebody on her right, and that person got a core pack. That's 180 points. Monica enrolled her sister on her, and they fall into this structure called a binary, which is mean you got a left team and a right team. And the company looks at all these points and say, cha-ching, Monica, you just made an extra $500 this week because these points that the company gave you for bringing these people on board added up. And you can earn up to $25,000 each week in the binary. So as soon as you get 4 people, though, you become what we call a manager. As long as you're the advanced pack yourself, or if you've accumulated 300 points, you get to be promoted to manager, which brings me to the next very exciting way that we get paid, which is the matching bonuses. You see, Everybody that you bring on board, and if they're making binary commissions, you're going to get 25%. Binary is what I just showed you. 25% of what they earn every single week. So let's say Marion goes out this week and earns $1,000. Well, Monica in this scenario would earn $250. The company's not going to take it away from Marion. They're going to pay Monica 25% on top of what Marion earns, okay? And so you just have to be a manager to qualify for all the people that you, there's no limit to the many people, the amount of people that you can share this with. But if Marion turns around and enrolls somebody and that person gets paid in the binary, Monica will get 20% of what that person earns. So they earned $1,000, that's $200 that Monica earned. But it's not just limited to the one person that Marion enrolled. And Marion may enroll 20 people. And of course, Marion will not be the only person that Monica is enrolled. Monica may enroll 50 people. Each one of those people, Monica's getting a first level matching bonus, second level, and then third level, another 20%. So we can break this down more for you on a page called thisisateam.com. That's our team site. And there are videos as well as diagrams that explain how you make the money, which we don't have time to do all of that tonight, but just know it's a very, very robust compensation plan. Also, there's a site called digitalalliance101.com. You know, their testimonials is which I really like it for. That's our team site. You know, my sponsor started this site, and so that we can capture the testimonies that we share. Also, just a plethora of information. You know, we're getting ready to go to North Carolina next week, not this coming week, but the week of the 9th of June. And different events that we're doing are posted on the site. Just a plethora of knowledge on that site. We also have marketing materials such as these postcards, so that if you do share patches with people, it explains the benefits on one side of the card, as well as how to, you know, instructions, as well as this website. Again, this is it info. So all you do is put those in those envelopes and pass them out. So it's a professional presentation. But this page right here, if you go to Digital Alliance 101 and go to the bottom and click on Stay Plugged In, you will be notified every hour, an hour in advance of any of the calls that we have going on every day of the week, so that you can just jump on a call and listen to, just like you're doing right now. So now, you guys, it's time to make your move, because, you know, if most people do have some dreams that they, you know, want to enjoy reaching those dreams and goals. And we've shared something we really believe will allow you to experience those dreams, because not only does everybody want good health, everybody would love to be free when it comes financially, so that they can experience the things they want in life. So we believe this is help for your future. And so we really want to encourage you to get started with this. And I'm going to stop this recording right now.